What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got a famous video that everyone looks forward to every year on this channel, so I'm doing it again this year. It is my top 10 list of my favorite horror films of 2023. The year started pretty slow in terms of horror films, really picked up around the fall, kind of October through December, picked up and added some pretty good stuff through the year. I think overall it's a pretty strong list, yet maybe not as strong as the last 4 or 5 years. It's weaker in comparison to recent years, but I think still pretty solid overall. Disclaimer just before I start off. Number one, I have not seen every horror film this year, so it's possible that if one of your favorites is left off the list, I just haven't seen it. I've seen most everything major, but I'm sure I've missed a few here and there. Haven't seen many in December. Also, this is my personal favorite list, not a technical critique or anything like that. My list will be different than your list, so please don't scream at me in the comments below about how I'm wrong and how I'm an idiot and I don't like horror. So our lists are going to all be different. One thing I'm doing also that I usually do every year, I've got 3 honorable mentions, so I'm going to have my top 10 in ascending order from 10 to 1, but I'm going to start with my 13 through 11, my 3 honorable mentions that are not quite top 10, but were worth a mention on this list. I'm going to just jump right into it. So number 13, honorable mention, Elevator Game. It is one that I saw fairly recently, probably September or October. Pretty fun little watch. Good background movie. Several kids are vlogging, trying to find creepy haunted houses, creepy scary places to go. They step in and start playing this elevator game, which is kind of like, Bloody Mary in the mirror or saying Candyman in the mirror. And of course, bad things happen and ensue. Directed by Dr. Rebecca McKendry, whose stuff I always enjoy. I think this is a fun, good dialogue, fast-paced, but kind of fun background horror movie. Nothing super spectacular, but just a good fun watch with a lot of good jump scares. Kids playing a game that turns evil fast, and pretty fun to watch, so I enjoyed that one. Number 12, honorable mention, It's a Wonderful Knife. One of the most recent releases to come out on this list. I also reviewed this movie in journalism form and written form over at pophorror.com, so if you get a chance to go to pophorror.com, read my written review on that. I go in more detail there. I also have a review of most of these movies individually on my channel in video form, so if you guys want to watch my video reviews on most of these, they're on this channel as well if you search for them. It's a Wonderful Knife is obviously a teenage angsty horror parody of It's a Wonderful Life. Taking other genres and turning them into horror movies has been a trend that I've enjoyed these past couple of years, and there are a few of these movies on my list already. It's a Wonderful Knife is obviously the It's a Wonderful Life horror version. It's meta, it's new age, it's fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you enjoy turning other movies into slashers, you'll like this one. Number 11, Pet Sematary Bloodlines. That's an October release that I reviewed on this channel as well. It is a prequel to Pet Sematary, at least to the remake of Pet Sematary, and I really enjoyed it. For being a prequel that went straight to streaming, I had very low expectations, and overall I think it did a nice job of fleshing out the characters of Jed and Timmy Baterman, the guy from the original movie. Really added to the lore in a way that didn't subtract or take away anything from the original movie. So if you like Pet Sematary and you want a little more character background to how things started, I think you'll enjoy this one. Again, nothing special, but it didn't detract, and I think it was a nice addition to that franchise. Now into my top 10, counting down from 10 to 1, my top 10 horror movies of 2023. And at number 10 on this list is the last one that I saw in theaters, the most recent addition to this list, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. I love the fact that we get a semi-serious Thanksgiving slasher. We don't have too many Thanksgiving horror movies. A lot of the ones we do have are very tongue-in-cheek and very over-the-top slapstick comedy horror. So it's nice to get a horror comedy that has more of a balance and takes itself a little more seriously. It is very much a small-town whodunit Scream style slasher with a lot of gore and a lot of references to the holiday, and I think you'll really enjoy it if you like stuff like that. So if you want a good horror comedy that's Thanksgiving based, that takes itself pretty seriously, I think you'll like that one. Number 9, one of the more underrated ones on this list, Cobweb. I watched this in October, and I'm not sure if I gave this a proper review or not, but it very much is kind of an apparition horror. It is, things hidden in a certain place, family histories, stuff like that. A lot of good jump scares, a lot of good dark cinematography, some good editing. I really enjoyed this one as a kind of a mashup of different genres. And the twist at the end, I think, is fairly obvious, but still a fun one to watch happen. It has a lot of Halloween ambiance, a lot of really good sound design, a lot of good editing. If you like to watch technically fundamental films that have good Halloween lore, I think you'll like this one. Number 8, this one's a little controversial. Not everyone liked this one. I really enjoyed it. Exorcist Believer. I really, really enjoyed that. As an addition to The Exorcist, I think it is probably the second best sequel in the entire franchise, second film in the franchise behind the original movie. I don't like a lot of the other sequels, but this one did a nice job of bringing back some original characters and the soundtrack and kind of references to the original, while also building on itself, using creepy kids in a good way, really good gore, really tense. One of the most tense films on this list. Again, good sound design. See it in theaters if you can. But overall, I think Exorcist Believer has a nice mesh of new storytelling mixed with the old storytelling, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next 2 sequels they're bringing out. David Gordon Green did a very nice job with this one, and I hope this one stays on this path. Number 7, sticking with older franchise, newer sequels, Evil Dead Rise. Number 7, Evil Dead Rise. Another one that I had low expectations for. I don't love a lot of the original franchise sequels. 2 and 3, I know everyone loves 2 and likes 3. They get a little too comedic and a little too slapstick for me. But I think Evil Dead Rise does a nice job of kind of getting back to the roots of the original, even the roots of the remake that I like a lot from 10 years ago. But I think Evil Dead Rise does a good job of, again, capturing tension, doing a lot of creepy jump scares, a lot of good gore. I think it just kind of sticks to the fundamentals and makes the original scary again, which I really enjoyed. So if you like kind of the OG and the remake more than you like the comedy ones later on, I think you'll like this one. It's not for everyone, but it is for me. Number 6, the first of 2 Shudder originals on this list this year. Either Shudder original or Shudder exclusive. But number 6, The Influencer. This is a kind of a 2-character, kind of a slowly entrancing situation. You have 2 characters who really evolve over the course of this. One girl is on a vacation with her phone trying to blog after a breakup, comes across another local girl on this island, and they form a friendship that might not be everything it seems to be. There are deceptive things in this relationship. Again, very character-based, very twist-based, and I really enjoy it. I think putting a modern horror twist on what an influencer is and what vlogging and stuff is, it feels very current, it feels very fun. That is my number 6 on this list. Number 5, this is another one that, again, takes other movies and switches the genre into horror and kind of turns other things into modern day horror. That is Totally Killer. This is the Back to the Future version of horror. Totally Killer is about a girl who essentially builds kind of a DeLorean and goes back in time and comes to find her parents back when they were kids, and that she has to change certain things about history to save the town. But if she changes too many things, then it's like the butterfly effect or Back to the Future, that certain things can't change or she wouldn't be born. So it is that moral dilemma of changing the right things and not changing the wrong things while going back in time. So if you like Back to the Future with a horror twist with a lot of fun comedy, I really enjoy the jokes in this one. They're kind of low-hanging fruit, talking about the time changes and how the period changes, but I kind of like that comedy. I think it's well written and fun. I really enjoy Totally Killer. Now we're into our top 4 of the list this year, and number 4 is my favorite A24 horror movie of this year. I've had A24 on all 3 of my last 3 years lists, top 10. This one is a really underrated movie, Talk to Me. I really enjoy Talk to Me. Again, it kind of has that Candyman vibe to it. Kids playing in a basement with this artifact. They find this hand that grants wishes, and it kind of has the innocence of like a wish upon, but it goes further. It really dives into some of the darker aspects of the wish and the darker aspects of when the negative soul connects to you, what can happen, what can take you over. It has kind of that truth or dare, wish upon kind of thing going on, but it goes into a darker place than some of the more frothy entries on that list. So if you like kind of a monkey's paw story that goes pretty far, I think you'll like this one from A24. Talk to Me is number 4. Now into the top 3 of 2023. Really love all these a whole lot. It is my highest Shudder original entry on this list. That is Spoonful of Sugar. I watched this one back in like January or February of this year, so it's kind of foggy. I should have rewatched it again. But my full review of this movie is on my channel. Again, most of these have reviews on their own standalone on this channel, so check those out. Spoonful of Sugar is about a girl who comes in to babysit and kind of take a nanny job for this child who seems to be kind of odd or awkward or on the spectrum or have some kind of deficiencies, and this child leads her into a dark place, and you realize that the family has secrets of their own. So it's a very twisted family secret kind of movie that really spends time with the characters. It's kind of a slow burn, but it does it masterfully. So I think you'll enjoy this one if you like the slow burn family secrets kind of horror. The last two are very big. Not only are they very big releases, like national theater releases, but also distant sequels to a franchise. Very surprised that my top two here, are both long-standing sequels to a long-standing franchise. Number 2 is the 10th entry in Saw X. Very surprised to see this here. This one gets back to its roots. Tobin Bell is back. Shawnee Smith is back. There's a couple other callbacks that I won't give away for spoilers. But Saw X is the story that happens between Saw 1 and Saw 2, where Tobin Bell goes to try to get surgery to get rid of his cancer. He goes and travels to find a surgeon to do this experimental surgery. And of course things go wrong, and people once again find themselves in a trap. And we find ourselves spending more time with Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith, and not only diving more into their characters and more into what happens when Tobin gets sick, but also seeing the good guy side of him. You find yourself at certain times cheering for him and cheering against some of the captors this time, so it turns the franchise on its head and did very well in theaters, and we are now getting ready for Saw 11 for next year, so I'm very excited. This one breathed new life into the franchise, and I thought the first 3 were great, and then 4 through 9 were not that great. I think this one is right up there as one of the best sequels in the franchise, and right up there probably at number 2 behind the first movie, in terms of spending time with the characters and giving us more meat on the bone and not just traps and gore. I love this movie. Number 1 for the year, you might have guessed based on my description what it is. It is Scream 6. So yes, my top 2 are Scream 6 and Saw 10. 2 distant sequels to 2 long-standing franchises. Surprised by it, especially considering that I thought 5 was just decent. I liked 5. 5 was on my list last year, but I wasn't sure what to make of them bringing back 6, because there were things about 5 that were really good and things that weren't so good. We kind of lost part of the magic in 5, but for building on the new franchise trilogy, going into 5, 6, and 7, they really spent time with the core 4 and kind of doing some things with the originals that shocks us. You see Courtney Cox's journey. You see David Arquette's journey. This movie, even without Neve Campbell, found a way to build on Courtney and David's relationship and kind of spend more time with them. David Arquette is the shining star in this thing. But also, we get time with the core 4 and build with the new characters. Jenna Ortega is great as always, and she carries 5. But in this one, Melissa Barrera carries 6. And her journey, not just reconnecting with her sister, but with the psychosis of the family name, and with Billy being around and being good versus evil, and seeing her kind of almost kind of decide to, if she can or want to don that killer side of her and don the mask. The psychology and the family history really plays a lot into this one, even without Neve Campbell. So I loved how they built on this, and not only is 6 a very good standalone movie in the franchise, one of the best, but it makes 5 a lot better. As you build with 6, you appreciate 5 more because it ties together. And, you know, as Jenna carries 5, Melissa carries 6, and now they come together in this kind of ending in 6 that now holds up differently, since 7's going to be so different. They may or may not get Neve back in 7, but as of right now, as of this recording, they're not going to have Melissa or Jenna. Melissa got fired over comments around Hamas and the whole sort of terroristic situation that happened this year, and Jenna had to cancel because of her Beetlejuice, or not Beetle, is it Beetlejuice or Wednesday Addams commitments? But in reality, what happened was she was quitting over Melissa getting fired. So will they get them back? Will they get Neve back? Are they going to continue with this production being cursed as it is or not? We'll find out. But anyway, Scream 6 ties up 5 nicely and ends with a really resonant ending, especially considering what's going on right now. So that's my top 10 with my 3 honorable mentions. What do you think of my list? Do you like these entries? Do you think there's some that shouldn't be on there? Should some be higher? Should some be lower? Please tell me in the comments below what you think of my list. And if there's any big ones that I raised up too high or that I left off, please tell me in the comments below. And also, please leave your lists. 2023 is now coming to an end in the next few days, and I want to get your guys' list and what you think of your top 10 and your honorable mentions. And also, what are you most looking forward to this coming year in 2024 for horror? I'll be posting a video on that pretty soon as well. Happy New Year, friends. I hope you enjoyed horror this year. I hope you're looking forward to next year. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas and your New Year's, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care, friends. Stay safe and stay scared.